Hey guys, this is Mark Goldberg from Mark Vlogs Watches, and today we're going to talk about this. Oh no, I was supposed to say quick wristwatch check. Okay, we're back. Anyway, today we're going to talk about this particular G-Shock. I will put the reference number of it up on your screen so you can see. Before we get started, let me please remind you to like and subscribe so that we can do this again. And make a comment, please, because that actually helps me out a lot. So there will be questions that arise in this video. Feel free to put them up. But before we go on, let me tell you, I personally find this kind of a complicated little booger. Now, what it's great for is working out. If you're working, if you do anything physical, if you're digging ditches, planting trees, anything where you don't want to mess up, you know, like a good watch. This watch, it's got 200 meters of water resistance and it's built to take a shock. So this is the thing that I would wear to the gym or doing any kind of physical labor. Now, I'm a dog trainer, so I'm constantly reaching into kennels and dealing with, you know, metal crates and stuff like that. So this is what I wear when I'm working. Okay, now, it's a complicated watch and it comes with a little chubby manual that's about that thick. So what I did was I simply searched for the PDF of that manual and I downloaded it into my phone, right? So whenever I want to look at what I need to do, I just go into iBooks and have a quick look at the manual. So I recommend that you do that, but the functions that you're using constantly and on a daily basis, you will quickly master. At first, it's going to be a little annoying and irritating, so definitely download the PDF of that manual and you will have it with you wherever you are. Okay, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. Overall, I like this G-Shock very much as a travel watch, more like a travel watch beater or a work watch. It drives me crazy that those 4 screws are not aligned. Guys, what would it have taken to just put those in alignment? I'm constantly fighting off temptation to just correct that with a little screwdriver, but I'm a little afraid that I'll ruin the water resistance or shockproofness of it or something. Anyway, what do you think? Tell me in the comments if I should feel safe in going ahead and adjusting those screws. On watches at this price point, I really like micro adjustments because I can use a toothpick to adjust the size of the bracelet a little bit in the heat or in the cold. The weight of this watch is really satisfying at about 165 grams. I really don't like a watch that's too light, but if a watch that gets up into the 200 gram mark, it's really kind of difficult to wear that on a constant and a daily basis. The one on the right is for sale on eBay, but both of these watches are right now in what I would call my solar watch winder. They're just sitting in the windowsill because solar power just recharges the batteries. You can see that the newer one that I'm using now on the left, it has the metal bezel, which I prefer, but it's also slightly smaller. I think the old one is like 55 millimeters. It's really huge. The new one is a much more humane size. And here we have a quick wristwatch shot. You can just see this is really quite a handsome watch on wrist. But now let's get into some live video and look through the functions. Okay guys, let's have a quick look around the bezel. We'll start with the buttons. Adjust, mode, light, and search. So let's talk about these different buttons and what they're used for. Mind you, it's very important that you keep the manual handy. We'll talk about how I do that so as to make this watch easier to deal with. You will certainly get used to programming the major functions of it without having to look at the manual, but you definitely want to keep that manual handy. I do so electronically. Let's have a quick look around these subdials and then we'll get into the button functions. First, this subdial is currently displaying the digital time, which matches up with the analog time. The PM indicator is there but will go off in the AM. There is no AM indicator. DST means we are currently set for daylight savings time, and that is manual. LT is not lit. That is the automatic light function, where if you just flick your wrist, the automatic light function engages. I have that turned off. Obviously, we're getting the running seconds read here, and here we get the day of the week indicator. Okay, so the first thing is that in this mode, which is called timekeeping mode, if you hit that adjust button, our digital time has gone away and I'm getting the date. So this is July 22, Sunday. And here's our analog time. If I hit it again, I'm back to the digital time. Running seconds here and here. Okay. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this easily here, but if I hit the light button, well, you kind of can see it. I get a very nice long light. It's double light. It backlights everything, including those subdials. I have it set for 3 seconds. You have a few settings in terms of how long you leave that light on for. Mode is a really critical button. If I hit it once, we go into world time mode. Right now it's set up for Bangkok. They are actually 12 hours opposite my time zone, so it's 3:10 a.m. there right now, and I know it's a.m. because it doesn't say p.m. So you got to use the process of deduction there. And later we'll talk about how to set up a different world time city. If I hit mode again, you hear the little beep at each portion of the mode. We're into the stopwatch. If I hit the search button, I have started my stopwatch running. These are hundredths of a second, seconds. If I hit search again, it stops the stopwatch, and if I hit adjust, it resets it back to 0. And I know I'm in stopwatch mode because it says STW right there. Now, if we hit mode again, I have the timer. I can set this as a countdown timer for anything, I guess to 99 minutes. I don't know. That I rarely ever use. I do use the stopwatch though. If I hit mode again, I'm into an alarm mode. It says alarm 1. I've actually got, I think, 5 different alarms. This would be set for 8 a.m. I never use them. Hit it again, and we're back to timekeeping mode. Now, sometimes you get yourself into a situation where you need to read the subdials, but the hands are in your way. Here, Sunday is slightly obliterated, but there's cases where you really need to get access to those subdials in order to program what it is that you want to accomplish, and you can't because the hands are in your way. So I'm going to push and hold the mode button until the word hand appears in that subdial right there, and that will move the hands right out of my way. Push and hold, it says hand, I release, and what it's going to do now is it's just going to tuck those hands into the nearest position where it's not blocking anything. While we're doing that, let's have a look that the hands block is blinking there, and that lets me know that we're not counting time right now, we're in the hand position. But of course we have full access to everything else we would want. So if I click this again, I'm going back into my various functions. Here we are in world time. If I want to adjust it out of Bangkok to a different city, I would hold the adjust button. I'll get a click. And now I can use the search button to move through the cities. That's Hong Kong. I don't even know what Taipei. I don't even know what some of Tokyo, Adelaide. Let's just go until I find, let's say, Paris. Los Angeles, Denver, Mexico, Chicago. I'm just going to go till we find Paris. That was UTC time, London, Madrid, and Paris. Now I hit adjust again, and we have selected Paris. Now, mind you, we're still in the handset mode. We know that because that's blinking and these guys are tucked out of the way. So we're going to push and hold mode until it blinks. And now it's going to resume my local time, but it is telling me, so my local time is like 3:09, and I know it's PM here, and it's telling me that Paris time is 9:14 PM. Super handy travel watch. Now in this mode, this is the mode I would leave it in if I were in the United States, Chicago, at 3:33 p.m. with my travel time over there in these two subdials. I know it's Paris, and this is the time, 9:33 p.m. in Paris. And in fact, if I want to get rid of that, I just hit the adjust button. Oh, sorry, nope, I hit the mode button. And that I will have to cycle all the way back through to my regular home time mode. Again, the adjust button was for me to toggle through the date, not into world time. That is a mode, so it's hit with the mode button. Okay, so again, if I want to quick check what time is it in Paris, I know that that is what I'm set up for world time. I can hit that, and then I toggle through. Hear the different tone when I get back to timekeeping. It's a higher pitched tone. Now, let's say I am on the plane. I'm actually going to Paris. I've just landed, so I want to swap the two times. I want that, what is now the analog time, like 3:35 p.m. Chicago, to go into the world time subdials, and I want my Paris time to go onto my analog dial, which is normally what I would do if I was traveling. In order to swap world time with home time, we just hold these two buttons down together. Okay, we're back. I boogered that up. In order to swap home time and world time, I actually have to be in the world time mode. And as you can see right now, I'm in just the regular timekeeping mode. That was my mistake. So we switched to timekeeping mode, or world mode rather. Sorry for the confusion, but guys, this is a complicated watch. Anyway, we click the mode button. That puts us right into the world time mode. And now, if we push these two buttons, I promise, it's going to swap our home and away cities. So I got the tone that let me know that it is doing the swap. You can see in the subdial, it's now giving me 3:36 p.m. In the alternate subdial, it's telling me that that is the Chicago time. And now the hands are moving to 9:36 p.m., which will be Paris time. That's where it's going to stop. And how do I know if that is AM or PM off of the analog dial at this point? Well, right now I would have to look out the window to know that. However, if I was in Paris and now resuming regular time, I would hit the mode button until I got all the way back to that high-pitched tone. Bing, right there. That put me into regular timekeeping mode, and now my subdial is displaying the digital time, which is 9:36 p.m. I no longer have to look out the window to know what time of day it is. And if you've ever traveled to Paris, you know for the first day or two, from the States anyway, there's such a vast time difference that you do kind of get confused between day and night. So super handy function, world time mode, and being able to swap world cities. So now I'm on the plane, I'm coming home to Chicago, put it into world time mode, and I switch it back. So my subdials are going to tell me what Paris is, and my hands are going to tell me what Chicago is. And as soon as that stops, I will hit the mode button and put this back into just regular, normal timekeeping mode. Okay, and let's do that by clicking mode. And, oh, sorry, I've got to do that until I get back to timekeeping mode, which is where we are now. And here you are seeing the screen that I almost always have running on this watch. I would prefer to have the digital time there than the date, but every once in a while, if I forget what month or day it is, I give it a quick tap and I remember again July 22nd. But typically I keep it right here in this mode. Well, right now we are in complete darkness, and you can see that the hands are lit up. If you have trouble orienting your watch, I'm finding in the dark the light button. Not too hard to find these things in the dark. And boy, you can really get a good look at this. The hands glow. If you can't orient the watch and you want to see everything, tap the button. I have it set to glow for 3 seconds. You have several different settings for that lume, or rather light button, but I really like this. It's super easy to read.